Videoskulptura XXV Archonté is a piece that reflects on question of digital immortality, futurism, AI. So the piece originates, the idea of the piece comes from a white paper by a cybersecurity analyst and a futurolog named Rik Ferguson. He wrote in 2020 a paper called Horizon 2030, in which he was kind of laying the ground of what would be the world if technology was, continuing on the path of acceleration that we witness now. So he was trying to imagine what this world would look like in 10 years as a mean for the cybersecurity community and basically different body of governments to think about possible problems that don't exist yet, but that surely will. So the world that he was describing was something in which at the center of it was the crisis of truth. So basically it's a continuation of the crisis of the post-truth era in which people had these digital contact lenses in which they could see avatar of people that do exist, that don't exist, that are there to influence them politically, or that are part of influence campaign by a foreign fictionalized country. And also one of the most radical idea I thought was, at the time at least, that was the first time that I was crossing this notion, is what we now call grief tech, which is basically the idea of digital immortality. So basically that after our death, the sum of accumulation of the very bulk of digital footprint would be enough to train by deep learning algorithm and avatar that would kind of continue our voice, or they could be able to talk with our family, or but they could also have their own agency. So the piece itself is based on these documents, and then kind of take it literally and try to imagine what these contact lenses will start to be invaded by a virus who is basically a source of disturbance and meditation on truth and death in some way, yes, and reflection. There is something very reflecting on the Narcissus myth in the installation. It presents itself like a pound, so black lacquered glass, in which two white screens are kind of radiating white light, and only in the reflection on the surface of this pound or this black lacquered glass, an image can be read in negative, which is also the result of the operation of the bouncing back of the light source coming into our eyes. So somehow everything appears ghostly on the other side of the mirror, and it's a meditation on transhumanism and kind of this accelerating technology and the question they raise. So in some way, yes, I think that it's quite accurate also to read it as a kind of interrogation of age-old question of aesthetic and philosophy, from the myth of Narcissus is one, but for example there is also a voice from a TikToker, a girl talking about the world being a simulation, which is a very hip, at least when I was doing the piece in 22, was a very hip idea on TikTok. People had fun and was playing with this notion that we are actually living in a simulation, a bit very Matrixian sort of things. But she was quoting Plato and of course the caves myths, which again seems to be informed by the piece. I think that the questions raised by the exhibition are at the center of they are extremely urgent. I think people need to be better informed, and they have to basically, we have to kind of jump out of this state of awe and of naivety with what is happening with technology, and in many regards, being social media, being AI, and the politics of it, and how all of this connects in a kind of tight web that is, getting nearer and nearer to ourselves, to the democratic structure, to our very, intimate thought to some extent. So I think it's about time to think in more mature, or in a kind of, I guess there's a bit of anxiety-inducing experience in the exhibition, but I recognize it as the type of thoughts It's a little bit like the zeitgeist that I believe we're in also. So it is quite interesting to face this challenge or to face these realities so that we become better informed and better, more mature audience and a little bit like more difficult to manipulate.